Okay, ma'am. Whether the board is clear? Hello? Yes, my voice and board is clear or not?
आहे मॅडम क्लिअर दिसते थोडंफार.
Yes, anyone can tell me whether my voice and okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Okay, good morning, everyone. So myself, Bhagyeshri Pardeshi, and currently I'm working in Sainath Nagar MPS. So good morning, student. So today we are starting with the next lesson, that is the circle here. So as you always know that before starting with anything, we must know all the basic things of that, okay? So here also we'll start.
मॅडम आवाज येत नाही, माईक चालू करा. Madam, your voice is not coming. Unmute your mic, madam. Bhagyeshri, madam.
Okay. Okay, so we will start with the basic, that is what is mean by circle, that we are going to start here. Circle, you are all have seen this type of round figure, okay? Forget about the maths, but we are seeing this type of a round figure. So what we call this as? This is simply a closed or round figure, and it does not have any edges or any corner. Can you see any corner here? Corner means like this way. Can you see any such type of this thing here? Figure which does not have, which are without any edges or corner, it's called as a circle here. So get that? So that is mean by circle. But this was the general definition. General definition means not about the mathematics. Those person who don't know the mathematics, they also know the circle. So for them, the definition of circle is simply a closed or round figure without any edges or corner. But since we are learning mathematics, we must know the mathematical definition of this. So here is the mathematical definition. So what is this? A set of points. What we are saying? A set of points in a plane. Plane means simply, if you see this board is a plane surface. So this type of surfaces which are plane, just like this, which are plane surfaces, they are called as plane here. So a set of points in a plane which are equidistant. Equidistant means which are at a equal distance. From where? From a fixed point. It's called as a circle. So what we are saying, we are having some set of points which are at an equal distance. From where? From a fixed point. Just consider this one. I consider this as a fixed point, and from this fixed point, I drawn some set of points. Look here, if you see like this dotted line points I had drawn here. So this set of points are all equidistant from this. Equidistance means if I measure the distance of this point, if I measure the distance of this point, or I measure the distance of this point, or I measure the distance from this point anywhere. If I measure this, all this distance will be same. That means this distance is fixed for all this points. So this type of figure is called as a circle in the mathematical language. So these are the set of points which are at the same distance from this point. You can consider any point here. So this is called as a circle. Hope so you understood very well what is mean by circle. Now let's see some more basic definitions of the circle. Means the points in the circle. So this one, what I'm saying, a fixed point. This fixed point, obviously the fixed point will also have some name. So what will be the name of this fixed point? This fixed point. What is this? This fixed point. This is called as the center. All of you know circle has a center. So this fixed point is called as the center of a circle. Then which connects thing we have taken? We had taken the next thing, the equidistance. Means this equidistances, this equidistance lines, what will be this called as? All of you know this very well. Can anyone tell me what is this called as? You can answer in the chat also. Okay. So this fixed distance, This is called as the radius of a circle. What is this called as? This is called as the radius of circle. All this thing you know very well, but from this definition, we can get it more clearly. So the fixed point, it's called as the center of a circle. The fixed distance or the equidistance line, it's called as the radius of a circle. Now, what is next? Now, next one is these are the things from this definition. But there are few more definitions which we require for this. So what is that? Look here. Suppose this is one point and this is another point on the circle. What I'm simply connecting these 2 points. I'm simply connecting these 2 points. Suppose this was my point A and this was our point B. Both were on the circle. What I done? I simply connected the 2 points. So the segment connecting the 2 points, it's called as the chord of a circle. What is this called as? This is called as the chord of the circle, and this is the important thing which we are going to learn, which will required in this lesson. This is called as a chord of a circle. What is mean by chord? Remember, any 2 points on the circle, if it is connected inside the circle, then they are called as the second. Who is raising your hand? Yes. What's your problem, beta? Vivek?
मैम थोड़ा फास्ट जा रहा है, स्लो जाइए ना.
Okay, beta. Okay, quickly meet yourself now. So we were learning about the chord. Chord means what? Any 2 points on the circle. We can consider any 2 points. This is one point. This is another point. And simply we are drawn this 2 point. That is, we are connected these 2 points. So this connected segment, it's called as a chord of a circle. If I consider one more circle, suppose this was my point C here. If I'm going to connect this anywhere, suppose this is my point B. And if we connected these 2 segments, where it is connected? Obviously, it is connected inside the circle. Then this segment is also your chord. So what is chord? Any 2 points on the circle, if it is, or let me write the definition of chord here. Any 2 points on the circle inside the circle, then it is called as a chord of a circle. Let me clarify this one. Suppose this is one more point E here, and this E, A and E are connected. If this A and E are connected with each other, then what happens? Can I say that this is also chord? Definitely no. Why? Because this point E is outside the circle. If it was on the circle, then I can say that AE is a chord. But since E is outside the circle, this cannot be considered as a chord. Okay, so remember the 2 points must be on the circle only. Okay, so this was for the chord, radius, the center, and the circle. But one more definition is remain. That is the radius here. So what is radius? Diameter. All of you know that. Or simply, suppose this is again our chord. Suppose this is point. Okay, let me draw another. This is one more circle. This is the center of a circle, and these are the 2 points on the circle. These are the 2 points on the circle. Now I'm connecting these 2 points. I have connected these 2 points AB. So according to our definition, AB is a chord of a circle. Why? Because the 2 points are on the circle and they are connected by a segment. So this is a chord. But if you look properly, this is passing from the center. This is the center of a circle. And since it is passing from the center, we will call this AB as a diameter. What we'll call this? This as a diameter. Means I can say that this is a diameter. Or one more thing, diameter is the largest chord. Remember this thing, this is very, very important. Diameter is the largest chord. This thing, diameter, this is also chord, but since passing from the center, it is called as diameter. And diameter is called as the largest chord. This is very, very important thing. Why? This is regarding your 10th standard also. And when you go in your 12th standard, when you give the entrance exam or engineering entrance exam, in the MCQ, this type of things are asked. Means some type of question is given, and there you have to use this concept that diameter is the largest chord. So remember, this is very, very important. Okay. So this are all the basic for the circle. Now, okay. Yes, Devendra, what's your problem, beta? Devendra, you have raised your hand. Any problem? Okay. Okay, now we are learn about the chord, everything. So we are going to see the few properties of chord. So let's see the properties of chord. Properties means here we are going to see someone is, please mute yourself. So let's see few properties of chord here. Properties means we are going to see the theorems based on the chord. What we are going to learn? We are going to learn few theorems that are based on the chord. Theorem means all of you know that it is a statement which requires a proof here. So let's see what is that theorem here. Oh, sorry. Before going to the theorem, we have to see few different types of circles which are present on the plane. Circles on plane. We are just seeing what is mean by plane. Plane mean a plane surface. This board is also called as a plane here. So we are going to see few types of circles here. The first one is the congruent circle. The first one is the congruent circle. Always remember, student, one thing, that the answer is in the question itself. What I required? We required congruent circle. So what is mean by congruent? Congruent means simply equal. So we require equal circle. Now equal means what? Suppose these are two circles I am having. This is first one, this is second one. Okay. Consider these are circles only. These are two circles I am having. Suppose this is circle with center O and this is circle with center P. I am saying that these two circles are congruent or equal. But when I can say that, it is simply if the radius, this radius, suppose this is OR and suppose this is PQ. If the radius of two circles are equal, then we can simply say that the two circles are equal. For example, the wheels of a car. For a single car, all the four wheels are equal. That means their radius are actually equal. So that type of circles are called as a congruent circle. So what is this? Their radii are equal. Radii are equal. So this is the first thing. Means this is the first type of circle on plane, that is the congruent. Name congruent, so obviously they will be equal. Means their radius are equal. Now second one is the concentric circle. Now concentric. Again, if you look properly, in concentric, centric word is came. That means it is something related to the center. So what is that relation that we are going to see? Suppose this is the center of one circle. I drawn one circle with this center. Okay? This is one circle. Since it is said concentric, and suppose this was the radius of this circle. Now what I'm doing, I'm simply extending this radius. I extend this radius up to this, and with this radius, I'm drawing one more circle here. I drawn one more circle. What I done? I kept the center constant. Only change the radius and drawn the another circle. Again, I am doing the same thing. Now I'm extending this radius, and with this radius, I'm drawing one more circle here. So again, what happened here? The center is same, but since the radius are changed, the circles, we are getting different circles here. So what will be the meaning of concentric circle? It is very easy. If the center is same, here the center is same and radii are different. And if we are having different radii, then that type of circles are called as concentric. Okay, so this type, if you see on a playing board, if you are going to throw an arrow and point a location somewhere, so that type of wheels you go to see here. So that type of wheels or that type of circles are actually called as concentric circle. And that, so this is congruent, this is concentric, and the last type is the intersecting circles. Now again, the name says intersecting, which obviously the circles are going to meet with each other. So that type of circles we'll call as intersecting. Now again, here are two types. The first one, suppose these are the two circles. This was the center of this circle, this was the center of this circle. And if you look properly, the two circles are meeting each other at this single point. Since they are meeting with each other, I will call these circles are intersecting circles. Clear? Since they are intersecting. Again, few more circles I am drawing here. Suppose this is one more circle, and inside this I am drawing another circle. Okay. Again, these are the two circles here, but these are again connecting, or these are intersecting at this point. So this is also an example of intersecting circle. Simply, the name suggests if the circles are crossing each other or meeting with each other, then they are called as intersecting circle. But if you look properly, here both are intersecting at a single point. Now, I'm drawing one more circle here. One more types of circle here. Now in this figure. In this figure also, two circles are given to us and both are intersecting with each other. But if you look properly, both are intersecting in two different points. Okay, but since they are intersecting with each other, this is also an intersecting. These are intersecting in single point and these are intersecting in 2 points. So remember this one. In the next step, we will require these things. What is mean by intersecting circles internally and externally, or these are intersecting in 2 points. So this was the most basic thing. Now let's start with the proper lesson, that is the theorem of this lesson, the properties of chord. We are going to learn the properties of chord, and in that property, we are going to learn the theorem. So let me write the statement of the theorem here. Along with me, keep. What happened here? Can't you see this? Oh, sorry. Okay. Along with me, start to solve in your notebook also. Okay, so just look at this. What is here? A perpendicular. What I'm saying, this symbol is for the perpendicular. A perpendicular drawn from the center. From the center. Whose center? Center of a circle on its chord, bisect the chord. What is said? That perpendicular is drawn on the chord. Just consider this. This is one circle. Okay. This is the center of a circle. What is said? A perpendicular drawn from the center. Means from the center, one perpendicular is drawn. Where it is drawn? It is drawn on its chord. Suppose this is a chord of a circle. Suppose this is chord AB. And suppose this is center C. From this C, one perpendicular is drawn. Perpendicular means what, students? Perpendicular means a straight distance which forms a 90-degree angle with the base. Just maybe on where it falls, it forms a 90-degree with that segment. So suppose this is CP. This CP is falling on this perpendicular chord AB, and that is a perpendicular. Then what it says? It bisects the chord. So what is mean by bisect? That we must, you have learned the lesson construction. In that you have seen about the bisection of a perpendicular bisection or bisecting a segment. So what is the meaning of that? So simply bisection means, suppose this is a marker here. If I break this from the center, if I'm breaking this from the center, and obviously since I'm breaking from the center, I will get two equal parts of this marker. This will be the one part and this will be the another part, and both will be equal. Why? Since it is break from the center. The same way, that means bisection means if it is dividing something into equal parts. If anything is dividing something in two equal parts, then that is called as the bisection. So what it's saying, this perpendicular distance is bisecting the chord, means it is dividing this chord in two equal parts. Mean this AB, this CP is by perpendicular, so this AP will be equals to BP according to this theorem. That is the statement of this theorem. Means this CP is perpendicular on AB, so this CP is dividing the chord AB in two equal parts. Get that? What is the statement of the theorem? What is the meaning of this theorem? Hope so you understood this one. Now since it is a theorem, we require a proof of a theorem. Is we have to prove this. Now how to prove this? It's very easy, student. While proving any theorem, there are few steps. The first step is the given thing. While starting the proving the theorem, firstly we have to write the given thing. Given thing means you have to rewrite the statement with the help of a figure in your own language. Yeah, rewrite the statement. What I done here just was given a perpendicular drawn from the center. But in this figure, I have given the name to that perpendicular. So what is that perpendicular? CP is that perpendicular. So that I have to write here. Next is given bisects the chord. So which chord? Here again we are given the name for the chord, that is the chord AB here. So that only we are going to write here. So just consider here. Firstly, I have to give the name to the circle. Circle's name is the center of a circle. Then C is the circle of the center. Sorry, center of the circle. Okay, this is the first given, which we are write with the help of the figure. Next is what? CP is the perpendicular distance, or CP is perpendicular to chord AB. Means we are written, instead of two steps, we are written the answer in a single step. CP perpendicular to chord AB. These are the given thing. Nothing else here. Only this thing is given. Then what I have to prove? Can you see anything else is given? Definitely this thing is only given. Next, what I have to prove? I have to prove that segment AP is congruent to segment BP. This AP and BP are equal. This is this we have to prove here. Always remember, given to prove. While in writing 10th standard also, you are going to write the theorems here. So how is the marking scheme? For given and to prove, you will get a half mark. for figure, you will get a half mark. Okay, so remember this thing. Figure is the most important thing given to prove. Here, nothing we are done in given and to prove. Only the statement is rewritten. And for this, miss, whatever given, that we have to rewrite. And for that, you are getting a half mark here. And half mark is very, very important in board exam. Now, how to prove this? That is the most important thing. So we have to prove this. Obviously, directly I cannot prove this. I will require something. What I will require, suppose I'm connecting this to, or I'm drawing segment AC and I'm drawing segment BC. Now, I got some triangles here. Yes, I got one triangle BCP and another triangle ACP. These two triangles I got here. Now, if the two triangles are equal, or I can say in mathematical language, the two triangles are congruent. If these are congruent, means if these are equal, then each and every side and each and every angle of the triangles are also equal, or they are congruent. Get that? If the two triangles are equal, suppose these are the two triangles. Suppose this is PQR and suppose this is ABC. I'm saying that these two triangles are equal. Means what? The measurement of QR will be same as measurement of BC. The measurement of PQ will be same as measurement of AB. Measurement of PR will be same as measurement of AC. Means each and every side will be same. The meaning of congruent. And also each and every angle will be equal to the corresponding angle of a triangle. So this is the meaning of congruent. So simply in this theorem, we have to prove that the two triangles are congruent. If it is congruent, we can directly say that this AP and BP are equal. Okay. So first thing, I drawn the construction. Now let's start with the proof. Now in triangle, I'm considering the two triangles ACP. This one, A, C, and P, and which is the next. You may have another name for this triangle. Some may write CAP, some may write CPB, or some can start from PAC. That doesn't matter. Okay. The simple thing that we have to write all the 3 points together. So we are consider these two triangles. Now in these two triangles, the first thing, this CP, it's common to the both triangle. Yes. The CP is for this triangle also, and the CP is for this triangle also. So I can say that segment CP is equals to or is congruent to segment CP. Why? Because that is the common side here. Because this is the common side. The first thing. Next, what you see? This angle P. This is 90-degree angle. And again, this P is in both the triangle. So I can say that here angle APC from this APC means that is for this triangle. It's congruent to the next angle, that is BPC. Only the name has changed, but both are common, or since each is of 90 degree, each angle is of 90 degree. Since both are of 90 degree, both are equal. Now what is next? In the next, I'm saying, since this is student 90 degree, the side opposite to 90 degree, it's called as hypotenuse, right? For this P in this triangle, AC is the hypotenuse. So I'm writing this hypotenuse. Hypotenuse AC. I'm saying that this is congruent to the next hypotenuse. That is, this is congruent to the hypotenuse of this triangle. The hypotenuse of this triangle is BC. Why? Why these two are congruent, I'm saying? Because they are hypotenuse? Definitely no. The hypotenuse of different triangles are different and they cannot be equal. But here I'm saying that both are equal. This is because if you look properly, this is the center of a circle and this is any point on the circle. So this AC or CA is actually the radius of a circle. What is this? This AC is the radius of circle. Same way, this C is the center, B is any point on a circle, and this CB is also a radius of a circle. Now, since both are the radii of a same circle, they are equal. Get that? Since both are radius of the same circle, they must be equal. So this is the thing. CP common, so equal. Angle P 90 degrees, so equal. Hypotenuse, since they are radius, they are equal. So therefore, since we are used the hypotenuse, I can say that therefore by hypotenuse side test, few tests are there which we have learned already. So by hypotenuse side test, I can say that the true triangle, that is triangle ACP, is congruent to triangle BCP. Get that, students? It was very easy. So you have proved the two triangles are equal. Again, for the marking scheme, whatever construction you have written for that construction and up to this, you will again get a half mark. Then by which test you are proving the triangles are congruent and writing this thing, for this you will get a half mark. This for hypotenuse side test, and for writing this you will get the half mark. But whether my theorem is completed? No. My final thing was I have to prove that AP congruent to BP. Now, since the triangles are congruent, obviously each and every side will be congruent. So therefore, I can directly write that segment AP is congruent to segment BP. But we must write the reason, because reason carries the marks. If you are not writing the reasons, you will not get the marks here. So what is the reason here? The reason is CSCT. What is the CSCT? This is corresponding sides of congruent triangle. What is this? Corresponding sides of congruent triangles. Since these are this corresponding sides of these two congruent triangles, we can directly say that the two triangles are congruent to each other. So understood this one? Okay, who is raising the hand here? Yes, Sanjana. Okay, no problem. Okay, I'm repeating this one more time. What we are given? We are given a perpendicular distance. Yes, we are given a perpendicular distance, that is a perpendicular from the center on a chord, and this chord this perpendicular distance on the chord bisects the chord, means it is dividing the chord in two equal parts here. Okay, so that we have to prove it. So what we done? Firstly, write given to prove in your own language. Okay, given thing you have to write in your own language. The language can be changed. No need to write as it is. So here. So nextly, we have to prove that the two congruents are triangles are congruent. So just write down that with the test. I firstly taken CP, the common side, so that is equal. Then AC, BC are the hypotenuse and they are the radius. Therefore, they are equal. Then P is the 90 degrees, so they are equal. So by hypotenuse side test, the two triangles are congruent. Since the triangles are congruent, I directly say that these two segments are equal. That means this is bisecting the chord. Okay, understood this thing clearly? What was this theorem? Yes, hope so. All of you understood this very well. Now let's see the next one. If you look in a textbook, the next theorem, I'm just writing the statement of firstly, I'm reading the statement. In that theorem, what is given? We are given one perpendicular distance, which is falling on the chord, and that is bisecting the chord. This is the next theorem. What they are saying, CP is given, AB is given, and it is bisecting. Means AP and BP are equal. This is already given. Then what we have to prove? We have to prove that this CP is actually perpendicular to AB. Means in that theorem, the reverse thing was happening. Means we are given a bisecting chord. Bisected chord is given. We are given a distance from the center, and we have to show that that is perpendicular. Means from back to first. Here we are going. Means that is whenever from back to top we are going. That means we are doing the converse of that theorem. What we are doing? We are doing the converse of that theorem. So that is called as the converse here. So let me write that statement here. We're not going to prove that theorem because it's very easy. You will only going to prove that. Okay, so what it's saying, the segment joining the midpoint of a chord. Again, midpoint is it is dividing in the equal parts. Midpoint of a chord, it's perpendicular to the chord. So what we do, what we have to prove? The same thing. Same you are going to do here. How to? Firstly, write the given thing, write the to prove thing. Then we are going to start with the proof. The proof will be the same. How will be that proof? Consider the two triangles. Show that they are congruent. How will do here? Here, you are not given this thing. But AP, BP given, CP, common side given. This is the radius. So radius of these two are equal. Means by triple estate, these two triangles are equal. The triangle ACP is congruent to triangle BCP. How? By triple S test. The thing is completed. Then what I required? So I can say that this angle APC is congruent to angle BPC. How? By CACT. That is corresponding angles of congruent triangle. But whether I require the two angles are equal? No. I have to show that they are perpendicular. Perpendicular means I have to show that the angle P is of 90 degree. So how to show this? Again, it is very easy. If you look properly, this CP, since it is falling on this line, the angle, this form, they are called as linear pair of angles. Right here, these are linear pair of angles. And if they are linear, that means this is the sum of the two angles is actually equals to 180 degree. If you look on your D, D you are having on that, the lower angle is of 180 degree. So the sum of these two is 180 degree. Now, since these two are equal, can I write this as twice APC is equals to 180 degree? That is angle APC is equals to 90 degree. How? This two ones are 2. 90s are 180. So I got this APC 90. That is, I got that angle P is equals to 90 degree. This one. So it's very easy, students. What we are done with your regular method, show that the two triangles are congruent. Since the triangles are congruent, the angles are congruent since they are corresponding angles of congruent triangles. Now, since it is forming a linear pair, the sum of the two angles is 180 degree. So since both are equal, I get that the angle P is equals to 90 degree. That is, this CP is perpendicular to chord AB. The CP is perpendicular to chord AB. Understood what we have done? It is 90. That means it is perpendicular to AB. So get that? This was the converse. We just go from back to front. That is called as the converse of a theorem. Okay. So this was for the properties of a chord. These are the two different properties. Just one property. In that one property, we have done the two things. Then on this, few questions are asked. How the questions are asked, that we are going to see here. Just we are going to see one or two questions here, because everything is same here. But which type of questions are asked? What we are learn? We are learn a chord. We are learn that it has a center, it has a perpendicular distance, and it is having a radius. Yes, these three things we are learn. Means if you are going, if the questions are asked, so how the questions are asked? The question can be asked changing the words only. From these three things, you may have given the two things. Okay, at least two things you will be given, and the third thing you have to find. Means in some question, the radius or diameter and the length will be given of a chord, and you have to find the perpendicular distance. Or in some question, length of a chord and perpendicular distance will be given, and you have to find either radius or diameter, or you will be given the radius and the perpendicular distance, and you have to find the length of chord. From these three, any one you have to find, but the method is the same. Means how to find that? The figure will be common. Only the name can change here. Means the points can be changed here. So what is here? Simply, you know very well that this is a 90-degree angle. So here only you have to use the Pythagoras theorem. Use the Pythagoras theorem, you will get something like this. AC square is equals to CP square, that is hypotenuse square, is equals to sum of remaining two side square. Get? And you can solve this. If you have to find the radius, that means this AC is radius. The two things are given. Solve it, you will get the radius. This only you have to get. If you have to find this one, do the subtraction of this two, you will get CP here. But the only thing is that if you are given the length of a chord, you have to use that, this theorem. You have to use the theorem. Since we are solving examples of theorem, we must make a use of theorem. The CP is perpendicular to the chord. Therefore, these two are equal. But only you require to divide this and find this measurement. So this is the way. The method is same. So let's see how the questions are asked here. So we are solving from the practice set only. Your practice set 6.1. Let's start with the first question only. I'm not going to write the question, okay? I'm just reading that. Hope so all of you have the textbook with you. So I'm reading the question. So what is given in that question? A distance of chord AB. A distance of chord AB from the center of circle is 8 centimeter. Length of chord is 12 centimeter. That means the measurement of length is chord is also given. We have to find the diameter. You are only given the name of a chord. Else is nothing given to us. Means you can write it by own knowledge. I'm considering the same figure. Perpendicular distance means the measurement of CP is given. The length of chord AB is given. I have to find the diameter. All of you know that diameter is twice of radius. Means I have to find this distance. Suppose this is my R. I have to find the measurement of AR here. So let's see. I'm starting with the solution. What is given? Firstly, since I given the name to the circle, that is the center, then C is the center of circle. C is the center of circle. Then CP is perpendicular to chord AB. Yes, perpendicular distance is given. So I written here. Again, segment CP, just right here. Measurement of segment CP is given to us. What is that? CP means perpendicular distance. Or here in the question it is written distance of chord from center. Distance of chord from center means this, from center to this distance. That is the perpendicular distance. What is that? That is given to us 8 centimeter. This is given to us 8 centimeter. Then length of chord is given to us, or length of chord AB. What is that? That is equals to 12 centimeter. Okay. These two things are given. What we have to find? We have to find diameter or length of diameter. What is diameter? This AR. I have to find length of diameter AR. So it's very easy, students. CP given, AB given. We know that this is 90 degree. So use a Pythagoras theorem here. Yes, Ziyad, any problem? Yes, okay. So let's try to prove this. The first thing, before using Pythagoras theorem, firstly, we will find the radius. Now, for Pythagoras theorem, I have the measurement of CP, but I don't know what is AP here. Yes, Sanjana, any problem? Yes, I unmuted you. If you have any problem, you can ask Sanjana. Yes, बेटा. Okay, आवाज break हो रहा है. Okay, बेटा. Okay, so here we have given the perpendicular distance, we require the APA. So we know that since CP is perpendicular to AB, therefore I can say that this AP is equals to BP is equals to half of AB. Why? Because perpendicular distance from the center bisect the chord. How I can say that? This is from the this is from our theorem. We are learning. So according to that theorem, these two are equal. So half of AB. So we have got all this thing. So simply now use the Pythagoras theorem. So now in triangle, we'll start here. So in triangle APC, this APC, angle P is equals to 90 degree. So therefore, since angle P is 90 degree, we can use here Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem means hypotenuse square is equals to sum of remaining two sides square. PC. We have the measurement of PC, that is equals to 8 centimeter. So it is 8 square. AP, we are just find out, that is equals to plus 36. So that is equals to 100. So this is the AC. But what we require? We require AC. So take the square root of both sides. 100 is a perfect square of 10. Since we are taking the square root, your answer is plus minus 10. But I don't require AC here. What I require? I required AR. Therefore, diameter AR is equals to twice AC, that is twice radius. This is nothing but your radius. So this is twice radius. So it is 2 into 10, which is equals to 20 centimeter. Therefore, length of diameter is equals to 20 centimeter. And that's what we require. I'm repeating one more time here. Quickly, we are given length of chord we are given CP, and since we know that perpendicular distance of EB. So in this triangle, use the Pythagoras theorem. Since P is 90 degree, using the Pythagoras theorem, we get the measurement of this AC, which is equals to 10 centimeter, and we require the diameter, that is AR, and diameter is always the double of radius. So diameter is equals to 20 centimeter. So this type of question are asked. So go through this. The first 4 questions are the same. Try to solve this. Otherwise, we will try to do one more question tomorrow. Okay, so I am ending here. I'm stopping here. Okay, ma'am, completed.
Thank you so much, Bhagyashree ma'am.
Yeah.